Got a lot to get to on this Monday, May 18th. This is the day we've been predicting, we've been looking forward to for 2 months, saying it is all going to come to a head. It is all the storm was rising on the horizon, and today I can feel it, Turtleboy. I can feel it. Something's the clash is coming. There's two sides to this. We've gone over this every day. There's the team lockdown, and then there's team liberty. And today, as it's happened in many other states and many other parts of the country, Team Liberty is rising up because Team Lockdown is captained by our governor, Chairman Charlie Baker, who is going to make an announcement today. And I'm just going to say, at least for some friends of mine, some listeners of ours, it's going to be really, really disappointing. He's going to slam the door in their faces again for no good reason. And they're going to be screwed. You know what some of them are going to do? They're going to fight back starting today. It's a whole new revolution today. It's going to be like the Battle of Bunker Hill or Lexington Concord or something. The shots will be fired not literally.
No intent violence.
Confuse our new favorite state rep, who we'll get to. But you talk to more people than anybody. I mean, you're a man of the people, Turtleboy. You're a small businessman. Do you think there's going to be clashes today as businesses open illegally?
There will be tension for sure. I think a lot of. How long can you string people along with this bullshit about? Well, we're going to open up on Monday, a phased opening, but it's going to be top secret who's going to get to open, and I'm not going to tell you until that day. So So you can't make plans or anything like that. Just maybe you'll be able to today. Maybe if I feel like letting you open, you can open. And a lot of people are going to feel let down when they see today that churches get to open and churches make no money. They do nothing for the economy, but businesses do not. They pay taxes. Yeah, right.
No, I said they don't pay taxes. But today, Baker, this afternoon, the governor's going to go before the cameras, have his mask on. I assume he'll probably cry a tear or two because that's what he does. He'll be surrounded by angry Democrats because that's what he does. He surrounds himself with hacks and bureaucrats and Democrats. He doesn't like the private sector. He doesn't like entrepreneurs. He doesn't like free market capitalists. No. He's going to have this phase. The latest phase is going to be, as you point out, churches, manufacturing, and some construction. They're going to be under all kinds of rules.
What is manufacturing? They have to do. Anybody have any idea what that means? Manufacturing,
yes, factories. Yep, all those big factories, the big mills up in Lawrence. They're going to fire those up again. The cotton.
So the girls on the loom and Lowell, yes, they get to go back to. Okay, making sure.
Yes, we're going to start. Yeah, they want to fire up the cotton gin again here in Massachusetts. No stopping us.
Okay.
But the people that we've been talking to, the people we've been talking about, haircutters, gyms, small businesses, stores, furniture stores, they're out of luck. They're out of luck. Walmart and Lowe's and Home Depot can continue to dominate. The neighborhood store that sells paint is out of luck because Charlie Baker does not give a damn about those people. They can go out of business. They can go bankrupt. He doesn't care. It was the most maddening weekend, in my opinion, because he formed a task force, a reopened task force here in Massachusetts, and he named 0 Republicans. There are 2 on the committee. They're chairs, but they're hacks. One's the lieutenant governor, and one's the whatever he is, this Keneally guy, another bureaucrat just in his administration. He works for him. He's not a businessman. He's not in the free market. He's not a capitalist. The rest of them are all angry Democrats. As you pointed out the other day, Dan Rivera, Lawrence mayor, is on the committee, and a bunch of other Democrats. Charlie doesn't care about his own party. That's why I encourage the Republicans. I encourage Jim Lyons, the head of the GOP in Massachusetts, to take the R away. Literally say, you aren't with us anymore. You're not a Republican. You're a Democrat. You're a liberal. You're just another big government blue state tyrant. That's what he is, and that's what we're going to see today. And I talked to people yesterday. You posted some stuff. They are so frustrated right now. I think we're going to talk to a gym owner from Massachusetts, Eric. He says he's opening. He's going to open. He's going to open, let them, shut them down. There are hair cutters, hair salons, stylists who are going to open. They're going to wear masks. They're going to wear gloves, whatever they have to do. But you can now get your hair cut in New Hampshire and Maine and Rhode Island and everywhere else, but not here. Can Charlie explain that today when someone says, why can't we cut hair in this state, Charlie? Can he give them a reason?
There's magical powers when you go to New York. I mean, when you go to New Hampshire, once you cross that imaginary line, then they magically, the barbers there do not possess the ability to transmit COVID to you. So in Massachusetts, they do. I mean, read the science.
The one thing we have, and we're gonna get to all this. One thing we have now is the face of the of Team Lockdown, the face of this authoritarian movement that just wants to crush the life out of business, that doesn't care. We're over 1 million unemployed in this state, over 1 million. It is not enough for Charlie Baker and his ilk. But today,
yesterday, I mean, this is what we're coming to. Look at this haircut I had to give myself. This is disgusting.
You did that yourself,
Jerry.
Yeah. That doesn't look that bad, to be honest.
Oh,
that's not terrible, but leave the hat on.
Worse, but I mean, I'm just sick of it. I mean, I got to shave my head. This is like the 4th haircut I've given myself. How many haircuts are we going to have?
Wow. I got so mad over the weekend. I'm getting mad again today because, I'll tweet about this and you'll post, you'll blog, and you get the same responses. Most of them are supportive. Most of them understand this is insanity. Most understand that the coronavirus attacks the elderly, the obese. There's no reason for a healthy 30-year-old not to go to work, whether they work in an office or they work in a construction company or they work at a gym. It makes no sense to keep that person home, to keep that person locked up. It's just nuts. And yet you get these responses, and you get them too. You get these tweets from people saying, you want to kill old, you don't care about old people. You're going to kill people. They're so ill-informed. They're so stupid, these people. I was driving around last night. I think it was after curfew, too, to be honest with you.
Rebel.
And I put on Howard Stern, first time in a while, and he's going off on why would you ever go to Starbucks? You risk your life if you leave your apartment and go to Starbucks. This is Howard Stern, used to be the king of all media and all that. How can a person be that stupid? I mean, unless he's just pretending because he's, one of these beautiful people now, one of these good liberals that hates Trump. He might just want to hurt Trump. He might be one of them. But Howard Stern is on his show, and Robin, of course, is giggling and agreeing with him, thinking if you go to get a coffee, you're risking your life. And he's admonishing his staff, the people who work for him. What are you, nuts? Don't leave your apartment. You're going to die.
Jerry, these people talk about data and science. Just look at the data in Massachusetts. I'm looking at it right now. 0 to 19 deaths, 0 to 19 in the state. 3,000 people have been tested. That's just tested positive for it. Probably a lot more. 0 deaths. You got 20 to 29, 10,000 positive cases. 5 deaths. That's it. Over 60% of the deaths are 80 or over. It makes absolutely no sense. Just don't go into a nursing home. That's all there is to it.
I think we've realized that now. This, 2 months ago, maybe we weren't sure. Now it's all, you got to quarantine the vulnerable, not the healthy, not the healthy. I'm sitting here right now. I got the TV on. Fox News has got a huge crowd going to a gym that was open illegally in New Jersey. That's going to happen here. I look forward to it. We know. I mean, how many times do we have to say it that it does not adversely affect young healthy people? If you're young and you're not obese, you got nothing to worry about. And people say, yeah, but you take it home and you give it to your grandmother. Well, if you're young and healthy and you're going to visit your grandmother, then you're dumber than Howard Stern. You're just so ill-informed and stupid. I mean, we know you're not supposed to go visit your elderly grandmother. We know you're not allowed to do it in a nursing home or assisted living place. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. These people are trapped. They're quarantined, but they're safe, right? Unless your governor is Andrew Cuomo, these people are probably going to be okay. These elderly, not be okay, but they're probably protected right now.
Or if you're in Massachusetts and your governor appointed some moron that he knows, some political hack, to do a favor for a city councilor in Springfield and give his completely unqualified son a job running a veterans home in which over 100 people have now died. Besides that, you should be safe. I mean, we did nothing to protect Northinghams. Absolutely freaking nothing, because they were too busy worried about whether or not Gerry was obeying curfew.
Right. It gets so, I mean, we'll get to the curfew. We'll get to the mayor. And the mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh, he made an announcement. He's extending the lockdown, and you won't believe why. You will not believe the reason why. We're going to get to that. But first, we have to get to the new face of Team Lockdown, a state rep who posted a video, posted a video of an interview he did explaining why he wants to extend the lockdown. And and I know you did this, Turtleboy. I did it. You look at this guy and you just get enraged. He's got long sideburns. Can we show him, Dave?
We're going to show it. I have to play the whole video with the sound. So
we'll listen briefly. His name's Michael Connolly. He needs a nickname, by the way. Michael Connolly's not a
hey, be gentle. Be gentle. He is a Gerry Callahan fan, by the way. He wouldn't be on the show, but he is a fan. That's what he said.
That's what he said. Loves Bernie Sanders, Cornel West, and me. I believe that. Sure.
Yeah.
I think he liked when you stuck to sports. Personally, that's just my take. But
but he's not going to join us.
He's not going to join us. He didn't have time this morning. He's kind of a local
guy from. Have you guys ever seen Flight of the Conchords? The show.
Seen what?
No.
Flight.
No, I haven't, but I've heard it. Yeah.
Google it and you'll see this. It looks like that guy.
Yeah. Well, here he is. So let's check this out.
Let's listen to Michael Connolly, state rep.
So I think it would make a lot more sense for the governor to put a draft plan out on Monday and then to allow a period of time for the public and for businesses and for all concerned to comment on it. And then perhaps in a couple of weeks, we could then consider where we're at.
I hate this guy so much. I hate that man so much. That doughy, that long sideburns. He's a Cambridge rep. He's a Bernie fan. He's a radical leftist who cavalierly says, let's just put out a plan and we'll talk about it for a couple of weeks. Does he understand that there are businesses out there that are trying to keep this, keep from going under, right?
That guy right there, Gerry.
I want to talk to a guy who owns a hair salon. He's got 15 employees. He's trying to keep them from leaving. He's trying to keep his business afloat. And this piece of this doughboy here says, yeah, we'll wait a few more weeks because he's not missing a check. He doesn't care if businesses fail. He doesn't care about unemployment. It is just so maddening. This guy has that kind of authority, that kind of power to say, you know what, we'll wait a few more weeks, and you know what'll happen in 2 weeks. Then it'll become 2 more weeks, and 2 more weeks.
Sure, just that guy. That is the face of Team Lockdown. You look at that guy. That is a guy who likes nothing more than letting himself go. So he's enjoying this all. No exercise, no haircut, literally just sitting home, getting paid to do nothing. This is the socialist utopia. This is like a Bernie Bros wet dream. There's a reason that they are leading Team Lockdown right now, because they don't want to go to work. Duh.
Well, they don't work. I mean, and that's the maddening thing about Charlie Baker, the rhino governor. He's surrounded himself with people like this. He's listening to people like this. Oh, well, you want to wait a few more weeks because, I don't know. We want to flatten the curve. Oh, no, we're not going to flatten the curve. We don't want to have a spike. That's the new one. We don't want a spike. And then we know what he's going to do for half an hour today. Testing. We need more testing. You can take your testing and stick it up your nose because businesses are going under. You idiots. Businesses are struggling, and they're people are going over the border to get their hair cut because they can't do it here for no freaking reason. It's just so maddening. I don't really it's not me. It's not you. You're doing fine. Turtleboy's doing great. It's the guy cutting hair. It's the guy at the,
I don't know about that.
It's the guy who owns the gym. His whole life is invested in that. All his money is invested in that. And this, you think Michael Connolly's ever seen the inside of a gym?
we're all being affected. Like, of course, I'm being affected by this too. Jerry, it doesn't just affect one person just because they're business. The entire economy shuts down. It's a trickle down thing. Obviously, businesses have less money to spend on advertising, so I don't have advertisers anymore. And the average rates you're getting and stuff for coming in, they're not nearly what they used to, because it's an entire economic slowdown. It doesn't just affect the businesses that lose money. It affects everybody. And we are literally living in this perpetual welfare state now, which is exactly what they want. I'll tell you how this ends. You end this real quick. You just say July 31st, unemployment assistance ends. So you can do whatever the hell you want with your city, but we're not paying anymore.
It is funny, I had this argument with Reamer. He thought it was a good idea. Give people $600 a week extra. Well, if you knew anyone that owned a business, and I do, if you know anyone that owns a construction company or a roofing company or paving, and they are losing people because they say, I can make more to sit on my ass. I'll call you in July. And they're not going to jeopardize that $600 a week. They're going to sit on the sidelines just like that blob from Cambridge, Michael Connolly. You're just going to sit back and say, you know what? We need a few more weeks. Can you imagine if those few more weeks cost you your business, cost you your gym or your restaurant? I mean, you can go to restaurants like in most of the country. When do you think they'll allow restaurants on Cape Cod or in Boston? When do you think they'll allow them to open and to try and salvage their business?
I just hate that word, allow. What?
Know,
who the hell gave them the power to allow anything? As if they're granting us the right to have free commerce in a free country. I just freaking hate using that word. It's like it's you recognizing that they are allowed to do this in the first place. Every time this has been tested, it turns out they can't. In Wisconsin, the state said that the whole lockdown was unconstitutional. Shelley Luther won in court. They're all winning. They can't do any of this. They don't have the power to allow anything. But to answer your question, when do I think they're going to be back? Normally, it'll be by the end of the year, probably, when they're actually allowed to have.
As you point out in your blog, Somerville, because they have this crazy left-wing mayor, is closed until after Christmas. So they've shut down everything until next year. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he doesn't care. His constituents don't work. It's a sanctuary city. It's illegal aliens. It's people working under the table. There's nobody there who really loses anything in his world.
Toughs, you know what I mean? Like, those people don't care. They're perfectly happy in Somerville. This is the kind of society they want. And eventually, Jerry, we have to recognize the fact that we choose to live here. We choose to live in the douchebag state. We could live anywhere we want. We could go south. We could have fun down there. But we've chosen to live here, so it is what it is.
I know, but also, I think I voted for him a couple of elections ago, Charlie Baker. I mean, I couldn't imagine voting for him now. I can't imagine anybody who works for a living, anybody who owns a business would ever vote for him again. I mean, he's worse than Dukakis. He's just a big government, authoritarian who wants control of everything. There was a protest outside his house in Swampscott the other day on Saturday. I don't know the number. About 150 people showed up, which is pretty good. It's not an easy place to get to. And about that same time, he ordered town workers, town employees, to paint orange arrows on the sidewalk so everybody makes sure to walk the same direction. Now, does anyone think that stops the virus? Does anybody think that has any effect on anything? All it does is, here's what he does. He wakes up in the morning and says, what more can I do to control the masses?
A survey of Karens has revealed that it does, in fact, work. So, yes, open your science book, Jerry.
And as I've been predicting for 2 months, this was coming to a head. It is coming to a head, even in Massachusetts. As you point out, the people who have opened against the law, like Shelley Luther, like this guy opening the gym in New Jersey, they generally win in the end. We'll find out about the restaurant owner in Maine, that Rick Savage, who's challenging their out-of-control governor. We'll find out if he wins in the end. But generally, these people, the capitalists, are winning because the people want to go to see them, because they want to support them, because they know how tough it is. They don't want to see these people go under. I mean, does Charlie Baker care?
Well, I don't know. Did you see what I saw this weekend? I was driving by restaurants on Friday and Saturday night. It looked friggin' packed for takeout. Like it feels like it reached that point where everyone's saying, all right, now enough is enough. And if this is all I can do to support local businesses, I'm going for it. You know what I mean?
See, you can't publicly say that you've given up on the lockdown, but mentally 90% of people actually have. And there's a reason that every time a state opens up, people just go to the bars. They're out, they're partying. That's human nature. They're going to want to do that. You can't cage people for this long. They're going to want to live their lives, and that's going to happen. Eventually the people
and you know what they understand, Turtleboy, you know what they understand? People all understand is, they take risks. We take risks. If there's some minimal risk for a 30 or 40 or 50-year-old to go out to eat, they're saying, I could do that. I'm not going to go near any vulnerable people. I'm going to, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to stay with my family in a home, and I'm occasionally might go out to eat. They understand that that's, that they're taking a chance. Some, not a big chance, but they're taking a chance, and they're okay with it. As Portnoy said in his rant, if it meant he would rather get the coronavirus and die from it than lose his business.
Gerry, I've literally volunteered, and I want to put this out here on your show too. If you know somebody who has COVID, I volunteer for tribute for them to cough on me. I want it because I'm sick of talk. I talk a big game, like I'm not afraid of commie cold, and people like, put your money. I want it. I will do it for charity. I will get COVID. So if you know anybody that wants to spread it, I don't know if that's legal, but I want it. Give it to me. So let me know.
I don't know. The prisoners did that in California, where they coughed into a styrofoam cup, and which had water, and then they drank the cup and they passed it around. Because in California, if you're a rapist or a murderer and you get the virus, you get to leave. You get to go home and kill, rape, whatever you do in your free time, but you get to leave. But you know what? It's almost tiresome. I'm tedious just talking about how how you get it, how you spread it. We all know now that it does not kill young, healthy people. It doesn't even hurt them. It doesn't even sideline them. It's just not how it works. Unless you're an idiot or Howard Stern, you understand that you're not taking your life in your hands when you go to Starbucks.
Like anytime the governor comes out and has anything, it's just a cacophony in the comments of Karens saying, "Thank you for making me feel safe." Literally nobody pays attention to the actual facts because they all turn on the news and they're sending you messages that you're all going to die. The new thing now, of course, is they know that COVID doesn't kill kids. So they're doing the whole, well, there's this other disease that is linked to coronavirus, and that's killed like 15 kids. So you better watch out and not have a play date.
That was a glorious day for the mainstream media, CNN, New York Times. They said, oh, good. There's something here that affects children. Now that we can force children, 4-year-old kids to wear masks, which is insanity. We're going to look back on that someday and say, God, we were just fools.
Insane.
Here's where you have to, here's where everyone should stop in their tracks and say, maybe the people making these decisions aren't that bright. On Friday, Marty Walsh, mayor of Boston, came out and announced he's extending everything, extending the lockdown, extending the curfew, masks for everybody. Put a mask on your dog, your cat, your fish, whatever controls he put into place. He's keeping them all. No let up on anything. The reason, and this is serious, folks, ladies and gentlemen, people, this is serious. The mayor of Boston said we have to extend the lockdown because not enough people have gotten sick. Not enough people have the virus. That was his argument. That's his logic. He said they tested, forget the number, I got it here, and only 9.9% of the population has been exposed to the virus. Judging by the people who tested positive for the antibody or the virus, not enough people have been exposed. So we have to extend the lockdown. That's his logic. That's who's making this call. The mayor of Boston, who's told you that you should put your 3-year-old in a mask, and you got to get off the streets by 9 p.m. and you can't do this and you can't do that. And you can't, play tennis. You can't play basketball. All these crazy rules. He said we have to continue with it because, we've done such a great job and not enough people have been exposed. That's the truth. That's who is telling you what to do in this city.
Yeah, I mean, shame on us, Gerry. Honestly, I'm ashamed of myself because I initially bought into the lockdown. I should have been gung-ho no from the beginning. Foolish me. The idea that we can give these power-hungry lunatics unlimited power to shut us down forever in the name of, quote-unquote, keeping us safe. the idea that they'd ever somehow voluntarily give that power back to us is ludicrous.
Right. Well, I didn't buy into it from the beginning. I mean, I bought into it for about a week, but then if you read up, and you read up, then we talked to Jordan Schachtel. If you read Alex Berenson, if you
everybody should follow Jordan.
Dr. Katz, these people, they're not getting the exposure they should. Obviously, we know, the big tech companies, they won't even allow you. That doctor out in California, Dr. Erickson, explained why you don't wear a mask and why you should not let you should keep your immunity strong, why you should be out there exposing yourself to these things. I mean, it was brilliant. That's been suppressed. YouTube will not let you see that video. It is scary. So a guy like that, a guy like, Dr. Katz, Dr. Erickson, you can't hear from them, but you can hear from Marty Walsh. Here are the numbers. This was on Friday. Boston has 11,395 cases. Not that doesn't mean they're sick. That doesn't mean they're dying. Just people who've been. He said new coronavirus deaths up to 551. The study says only 9.9% of the residents in 4 Boston neighborhoods have tested positive for the antibodies. That means 1 in 10 residents have developed antibodies, and the rest have not been exposed. So we must continue to lock down the city. You cannot go to a gym. You can't get your haircut.
That sounds like an argument for herd immunity, right? The idea that we can't come out until everybody's been exposed to it. Isn't that literally an argument for opening it up?
Yes, it's stupid, but it's, Marty Walsh, that's what you get. And people, I think there's 2 kinds of people. There's the people who are informed, who have read up, who understand the risks of how minimal it is for young, healthy people, how stupid it is to close schools. Schools should never have been closed. There is no risk to 3rd graders. If you're a 65-year-old teacher or principal, you don't go. But if you're a 35-year-old teacher, you go. Simple as that. I mean, if you feel like you're in danger, you don't go. I mean, there'll be lots of people who will, beg off and stay home and stay in bed and not go to work. We know that, but kids should not be home, trapped inside. You know where most people get the virus, and kids don't get it, but you know where most people get it? At home. That's where you get it. Even Andrew Cuomo, that moron, admitted you get it at home. That's where that's 2/3 of people who tested positive in New York got it at home while locked down. So what do? We lock everybody down. Makes a lot of sense. But that's what we're dealing with today. We're hoping, I'm hoping some people defy their masters here. I hope they rise up and open their businesses and cut hair and open their gyms and open their, furniture stores and open their neighborhood hardware stores and paint stores and bookstores. Check this out, Turtleboy. I talked to somebody who talked to the governor, and the governor put this task force together with a bunch of angry Democrats that don't care about the economy, that in fact like it because it hurts Trump. He named no Republicans to this, bunch of 12 Democrats, I think like 3 or 4 unaffiliated, and then Polito and Keneally, his underlings, his capos. Somebody said, you don't have any small business people on there. You don't. You're a bunch of hacks, and you have, big business people, but no small. He says, yes, there's a bookstore owner from Nantucket. That's what that was the governor was asked, why don't you have a small business person on your committee, on your task force? And he said, I do. I don't know what the name is, but they own a bookstore in Nantucket. I said, ooh, that's representative of
that guy's slumming it. He's a working class guy. Just owns a bookstore in Nantucket.
Yeah, bookstore in Nantucket. But I mean, honestly, can you imagine having like a small store and a hardware store or whatever, and across the streets a Walmart, a Lowe's, a Home Depot, and they're just crushing you. And they're open and they have no rules. They got big crowds. They got big lines. And you can't, even if you do the 6 feet, even if you have one customer at a time, you can't.
Yeah.
They won't use that word again.
It sounds
they won't allow you.
Owning a barbershop in Methuen and seeing all this traffic go across the border, a mile away to a competitor in New Hampshire. I bet it feels a lot like that. It just makes no sense. None of this was thought through. All of this is ridiculous. All of it was panic porn, hysteria. We're going to look back on this, and this is going to be the darkest point in America. I've never been so angry, Gerry. I mean, I get mad at liberals all the time, but for the first time, they're actually like affecting my day-to-day life. Usually they're just an annoyance. They say stupid things. I laugh at them. Now it's like I can't do things that I love doing for unlimited amount of time because of them. So now they're actually freaking messing with my life. And just
I agree with you. And it amazing. And I'm disappointed. And you're right. We choose to live here. Our neighbors elect these idiots. But I'm getting really, really annoyed at people like, these people that tweet at you and me, these Karens, these people that think that little kids should have masks on and think if you go out after 9 p.m., you're, going to spread the virus or whatever.
You get
driving around in their cars alone with masks on. I mean, that's a sheep. That's not a person. That is a sheep. If you're driving around in your car alone with a mask on, you're a fool. Okay.
Or biking. I see a lot of people doing it, biking and running. You look ridiculous. Whatever, freedom, do whatever you want to wear it, but like you're not helping. Nobody's safer because of that. You just look like a moron. That's it.
I know. You see bikers, runners, people running with masks, and then they give you the dirty look if you're running without one. Like you're running by them.
No. I don't get that at all. Like, so I go to the post office the other day and I thought I would not wear the mask in there. And it's a small post office. And I kept seeing people come in and they put the mask on and they come in and everybody looks at you and nobody says a word. And you know what they're all thinking? That guy right there has got it all figured out. That guy, I wish I was that guy. I wish I had the balls to do that. Nobody says a freaking word. People say hello to you. Trust me, we all agree on the inside. This is ridiculous, but we go along with it because we've been told we have to, and people are afraid. Just step out. Trust me.
Well, we over the weekend I was tweeting all about it as usual, and there was one viral video of a Karen who was yelling at people. She posted herself. Yelling at people for not having masks on the beach and not being social 6 feet away.
Oh my God.
There were video, and you can see the video, and it's like a family. It's like a father, mother, and 2 little kids. And she's yelling at them for not keeping a safe distance. Why the hell would a guy have to keep a safe distance from his wife? Well, what sense does that make?
Well, in fairness, Gerry, with her, I would imagine her husband naturally keeps a safe distance away from her based on if she's married. Or men in general.
And she posted, she's very proud of herself, yelling at people for walking on the beach without a mask. That's not someone that says, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't do anything positive. I mean, that's just a person that wants to meddle in other people's lives. They're the worst. These people are the worst. They're coming out of the woodwork, and they're going to get worse because
Gerry,
more and more people are like you and me and saying, screw it. I don't want to, I'm not going to follow your stupid rules. They're not going to like it when barbershops open up. Did you see the video of the Karen yelling at people on the beach, Dave?
Yes, I did. But also you don't really see, because Twitter, it doesn't go down on Twitter. You just see the viral video like that. It goes down on Facebook on every frigging post. It is just Karens
oh my God,
everywhere on Facebook. Thank God you're not on Facebook.
There is a woman, a turtle rider in the comments she's from Georgia, and I mean, ask her. I mean, she's posting about it right now. Everything down there is going perfect. I mean, it's great. It's like I wish you lived in freaking Georgia. It's like the best state in the country right now. Georgia, Texas, the fun states. If you recall during the American Revolution, Gerry, this is the state that like defied tyranny. We didn't like the Stamp Act. We threw crap. We didn't want your crappy tea. We'll drink the more expensive tea. That was us, and we couldn't get the chick states like New York and South Carolina to jump on board with us until it was finally like, oh man, it can happen to us too. Now it's reversed. Now the fun states, the rebellious states are in the South, and we're the prudes up north saying, oh, we should just give in to the crown and just drink this, whatever they tell us to do.
Do you know what Atlantic Magazine said when Georgia opened up? They said the governor was doing an experiment in human sacrifice. And New York Times, or one of the prominent New York Times guys said he was signing a death warrant for the people of Georgia. They are so disappointed in the mainstream media. CNNs and New York Times are so disappointed that there is not a wave of death across Georgia and Texas and Florida. The big stars here are the Republican governors, DeSantis and Abbott and Brian Kemp, who said, we must save our economy. We must save our jobs, our businesses. We don't have a Republican governor up here in New England. Unfortunately, it's sad, but you're right. I look at them and I say they got balls. They told the media to suck it. They told all these control freaks, these Michael Connollys and Marty Walshes to screw. They did not sacrifice their capitalists, their private sector. We do. We said screw it. We got over 1 million people unemployed. Does Baker give a damn about them? Does he even discuss? Does he even does he ever cry for them? Does he cry for them? Or does he just cry for fictional? Does he just cry for fictional fishermen?
Yeah. Jared, the new spin that they're going to put on the CNN put it on this weekend was that in Texas, the number of positive cases is increasing. But what they're not telling you is that what's increasing even more is the number of tests that they're doing. So of course, the number of positives are going to come back. Proportionally, it's not adding up. It's just they want this. Why does CNN? Right. And once you ask that question, the logical conclusion about why they're doing this is simple. November 3rd. That's all it's
right. And that's why someone like Howard Stern, he hates Trump. He wants to defeat Trump. Hates Trump supporters. So he wants people to think if you go to Starbucks, you're taking your life in your hands. They want people to be afraid to leave their houses, afraid to get their hair cut. They want more unemployed. They want more bankrupt businesses because it hurts the evil orange man and it gives them a better chance. Once that bumbling idiot comes out of the basement in Delaware, they want to prop him up and kind of carry him across the finish line. You're right. November 3rd is why, more than anything, Michael Connolly and Marty Walsh want this to drag on.
How much you want to put the DNC? Because do you think they're going to put Biden up on stage?
It's a good question. I mean, he can't even handle being being in his basement, reading his notes. It's every day. It's just another gaffe. Yeah. It's a good question. Maybe they'll have a virtual convention in August.
They've already pushed it back a month. This seems like the perfect excuse to cancel it and just cover for Joe. The more they keep him in the basement, the more they can just groom the VP, who's really, it's going to be like a Dick Cheney presidency all over again if and when he wins.
The media's really hoping, or really propping up, holding up, carrying Stacey Abrams, which is not an easy thing to do. And they're hoping she's the choice. She's already getting
how hard it is to keep up Stacey Abrams. It's not easy. Although the Washington Post freaking lionized her. Did you see that picture?
Yes. Yes, it was kind of funny. But all right, are we talking to some of these people, Dave?
Let's call somebody. Let's call. You want to call Mike?
I thought we were calling 10, 15 minutes ago. Let's get
rambling.
These what you do. What?
You were rambling on. Hold on. I'm going to call
Mike. I'm rambling on because I'm waiting for you to call one of these guys and get them on. I want to start the revolution. Damn it.
Exactly. All right. Here he is. Let's call him.
Mike?
Yep, this is Mike.
Hey, hello.
Hey, Mike, this is Dave. You're with Gerry Callahan. How are you?
How you doing, Dave?
Good. Gerry, you got him.
What's up, Mike? How are you? I need a haircut today. What time can you squeeze me in?
What's that?
I said I need a haircut. What time can you squeeze me in? Are you opening? Are we starting a friggin' revolution or not?
Let's go right now.
Okay.
I'm ready to go
What's your
now.
plan? What?
What's my plan?
Yes.
Listen, I want to open today. But, I live in the state where we're controlled by fools.
So, are you opening or not?
Are you going to open?
I want to open. I will open. It's something that I've been considering. It's something I think that I wish the hair industry had bonded together like people in Georgia and Texas and other places have done. But I think I think at this point my hand's being forced, and it's something that I have to do. What
do you think, Mike? What do you think will happen if you open against the governor's decree? Do you think the cops will show up? What will be the downside, the risk? What are you risking if you open?
The one risk I think is what I've seen happen in places like Michigan, where a 77-year-old barber who's been cutting hair for 50 years, they suspended his license. And, that's the one risk that I guess I have to be willing to take. And at this point, I want to know where in the Constitution it says that a governor can make a law Last time I checked, it doesn't say it.
He can't, but I'm confused. Are you defying the government or not? I was told we were leading the revolution here.
That's my plan. That's my plan. I'm going to get things going on the books, and I want to open. Hopefully by Wednesday, I'll start making calls. We're going to see what he does today, but from everything that I've read, he's going with. I can go to church and pray, which that's fine. I can pray that I don't go bankrupt. It's at this point where it's time to what more can we do?
But you have the power to fix it. You have the power to lead the revolution. I don't own a business. That's
what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, people don't understand that. So what are we supposed to do? They tell us that the end all be all is to wear masks. Fine. Let me wear a mask. Let my clients wear a mask. I'll check their temperatures at the door, and I'm going to fucking open the doors.
But have you lost any employees? It must be tough. It's going on 2 months. Are you just begging them not to go somewhere else, not to leave the business? Are you hanging on as far as your employees go?
Fortunately, we're lucky. I have people that are loyal and love their jobs, but they're beginning to get very frustrated. I mean, they can only live on unemployment for so long. Unemployment's only going to last for so long. I haven't lost any as of yet, but the longer it goes, who knows?
Well, unemployment
and they're getting the 600 extra. So, they're not some of them aren't in any rush to go back to work, I suppose.
No, exactly. And then, you got Pelosi who wants to extend it till January 21st. And some of them are like, fuck it. I'll just stay home. That's fine. But the majority, I got to say, I'm lucky. You know them. You've been getting your haircut there for over 5 years. They all want to work. They love their jobs, and I think they like, working along. And
I get all the complaining, and we've complained about this stuff, but I was under the impression that you were leading the revolution, and just kind of like in the comments right now, you're not exactly inspiring confidence that you're going to open up. Like maybe you'll open up.
I'm going to open up. Trust me, I'm going to open up, and then Callahan's going to be the first one that's going to get his haircut from me.
Yeah, I'll be like Ted Cruz. He went down and got a haircut from Shelley Luther, and all the cameras showed up. See, I think if you do that, I think you win in the end. I mean, they can't take your license away. It just that barber in Michigan. That has to be temporary. He's 77 years old. He said
it is.
He's willing to take a risk.
He suspended it, but he's continued to work because there has to be a hearing for that and the next thing, and then
you know what?
And you know what? He's at risk.
Bus pass too. So,
and if they do that to me, they do it to me. Okay, big deal. I'm going to continue to go.
All right, I'll be there. You open up, I'll be there, and so will lots of other people. I heard there were people like you, Mike, who had appointments booked for today. We're hoping today they were open, and everybody was going to show up today. And now it's on hold once again.
I know girls. I know girls that have their nail appointments set. Botox. I mean, you name it. Anything in the beauty industry, people had booked appointments. We began booking appointments. So let's see what this wonderful governor of ours does.
Is this the last state in New England that's forbidding haircuts?
Maine is open. New Hampshire's open. Connecticut's open. Vermont, I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
they don't get haircuts in Vermont.
Open.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, we know how to do it. Everyone knows how to do it. Georgia showed us the way. Texas showed us the way. There is none that you shouldn't be able to go back to work. But anyway, we'll see what he says today.
What bothers me too is that this industry is one of the cleanest, most sanitary industry there is out there. I mean, the rules that we have to abide by as is are as strict as could be. So tell me why we haven't been open already.
Because we're being ruled by fools, clowns, idiots, jokers. We're just being, Michael Connolly of Cambridge is making the decisions. That's why. But hopefully you'll be open soon, Mike Manzo of Trenoir, and I will be there. All right.
All right.
We will see you soon, my friend. Good luck. Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Jerry.
I mean, obviously, Turtleboy, you want him to just open like
Jerry,
right now.
If that guy is leading the revolution, Longshanks would crush it like a bug.
But don't you think?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
Longshanks-
I'll start the revolution. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I thought he was opening. What was that about?
That's the guy who wants to open so bad, but
Who
he fears.
does it? What's original about that?
But he fears retribution. Like
What's
that's
original
all.
about that?
Don't you think his fears are well founded?
Owner? I thought we were having William Wallace on. What was that?
I didn't say that. No. We're William Wallace. I'll be.
Yes, so
I'll be,
I mean,
Stephen from Ireland.
I don't want a storefront. It's like that's what we need. We need to lead it. That phone call right there. That's why nothing has opened yet, because that's the revolution. That's maybe I'll do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we're going to gym owner too.
Well, we had our Cara Cullen. She was really the ringleader behind all this stuff. But unfortunately, that only pertained to the golf industry. Nobody else took that as a lesson for their business in a different sector.
And that worked, by the way. That worked. She threatened to open up and go rogue, and they buckled and they allowed her to open up with all these stupid rules. But it worked. Golf, we were the last state in the union to reopen golf courses, but she forced the governor's hand. I think you're right, Turtleboy. If not just him, but if many haircutters, hair salons opened all together same day, it'd be wild. But you can't arrest them all, can you? You can't take all their licenses away.
I'm a Shelley Luther, right? And it's really simple. If you just do something that goes viral. If you're the business, if you're the barbershop that opens up and some overzealous cop comes in and arrests you, I mean, that's good for you. You don't understand. That's good for you. You're going to make Fox News. Tucker Carlson's going to talk about you. There will be a GoFundMe for you. That's what you want. Lead the revolution. What are we doing, people? This whole idea of like, well, I want to, but I'm afraid of what they might do. Then you don't really want to that badly. You just kind of want to complain about it, which gets us absolutely nowhere. Do something.
Well, we're going to talk to a gym owner too, who is vowing to open like against the law illegally. And it's a big gym, a nice gym. But let me talk about Shea first, and then we'll hook up with the gym owner and I think that may be the wave, because it's in New Jersey right now. They're not allowing gyms either, but they're just opening. Gyms are opening. They got a million precautions. They got everybody's getting their temperature taken. And by the way, most of the people at the gym, they're not obese and they're not old. They're not vulnerable. They're willing to risk it to go in and, ride the elliptical or lift some weights. They're willing to take a chance, and the government won't let them. But I think you may see more than a few gym owners defy the order. But you know what? I think they have to, because I don't think Charlie Baker, when he's surrounded by the people, I don't think he's ever going to give gyms or hair salons or nail places. He's never going to give them the green light. They have to just say, we have no choice. We have to open.
Yeah.
But let me tell you about Shea Concrete, and then we'll hook up with the gym owner, who is promising to
So so Turtleboy is going to be happy with the gym owner.
Okay, good. I need some bet.
Or you could bully him. You could bully him into opening. But anyway, let's talk about Shea Concrete. Shea Concrete's a 4th generation owned and operated business that's working hard day in and day out to be a trusted precast concrete partner. You know all about Shea. They're open and waiting to take care of your precast concrete needs. They're a local company, but they're all over New England. 4 state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities. You can stop and check them out. They're clean. They're distancing. They're wearing their mask. They're doing it right. If you're a contractor, you get a little free time. Let me tell you some of the products Shea can deliver to your job site ready for installation. Wastewater products, underground stormwater systems, barriers and bullards, deck footings, electrical and communications products. The list goes on and on. These guys at Shea, they can do it all, and they can do it now during this lockdown. If you're an engineer, Shea can help you design your next project. They got some really smart young people who are ready to help you out, plan your project. Give them a call for more information or for an estimate, or just log on to SheaConcrete.com. Ask for a hat too. Cool hats. But Eric owns Athletic Evolution, big gym, nice gym. And I'm telling you, I've been there. Everybody's young. They're all healthy. They're young. They're college athletes. That's where they go to train. He knows that he could do it right. He knows they're taking no great risks with, people aren't going to die. He knows, Howard Stern is wrong. If you go to the coffee shop, you're not going to die. He knows that. And he has to sit there and watch his business just, wither away and die because that's what the governor said he had to do, to flatten the curve. Didn't we already flatten the curve? Isn't the curve flattened?
Yeah, I mean, we flattened it a long time ago. If you think this is about flattening the curve, then I mean, seriously.
The new one today. Count how many times Baker, when he talks today, when the governor talks today, count how many times he says testing. That's the new fallback thing.
By the way, how exactly? So you're gonna get tested, and then you come back clean. You don't have the common cold, and then what? It's just assumed you'll never get it. I mean, we're gonna test every day, every hour. How is this gonna work?
Right, you can get tested today and then get the virus tomorrow. So what? Yeah. I mean, but it's a new fallback for like thoughtful liberals. It's another way to delay, getting back to normal, opening up the economies to say, no, we need more testing. When you ask them why, they can't explain it. Okay, you get testing, then we know how many people have it. So what? I mean, it still means that, there's still 1 million unemployed and more and climbing in this state, 36 million around the country unemployed. What does testing have to do with that guy who needs to get back to work, with that business that needs to open up? So what if you test every day? Okay, you're good. You can go to the gym. Then what do you do the next day? Test them again?
Mm-hmm.
That's once a week, once a month. What do you watch? All they talk about is we need more testing. It's a delay tactic. It's a way to sound like you care, like you know what's going on, but not let people get back to work.
Yeah, that's all this is. I mean, that is going to be the buzzword of the day, test and trace. And that's the other thing. The Orwellian, they're going to try to chip you. That's coming next. They want to know.
At what point do people lose all trust? Because again, I know why Charlie Baker's doing this. He has an 85% approval rating. We went over it the other day. 60, 70% think he's doing a great job handling the virus. So he's just going to keep doing what he's doing because the people who don't get affected by that, by these suburban soccer moms who are scared and put masks on their kids when they play in the yard, they like Charlie. They support Charlie. So why should he change? You asked, earlier, why do we live here? Why should Charlie do anything different? If the Globe loves him and the suburban soccer moms love him, why should he do anything different?
Talk about putting guys like you mentioned it before. Talk about putting guys like Jim Wyons in the Mass GOP in just a horrible position. I mean, they would, if this were anybody else, they would be burying that person, and they can't do anything. They haven't really spoken out publicly about what Baker's doing.
Check them out. They should say you can't be. You can do all this stuff, but you're no longer an R. No more R for you.
Well, they have the Mass GOP is in a bad position to begin with because they're in Massachusetts. So I hate to break it to you, but not much they really say or do matters.
This is true.
And we have guys, and I can't imagine sitting home waiting to open up a business and someone like Michael Connolly, that doughboy, comes on and says, I think we need a couple more weeks to talk about it. Let's just talk about it for a couple more weeks. All right. Are we going to talk to Eric, Dave?
Let's give him a call.
I want to get to the new NFL rules too. Something that happened over the weekend.
This is Eric.
Hey, Eric. Dave here with the Gerry Callahan podcast. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. Gerry, you got Eric here.
All right, Eric, what's going on, my friend? We have decided that you're going to be William Wallace. You're leading this this revolution against the Russians.
I'm fair. That's fair.
Are you ready?
Gerry, I am so ready. I mean, I am. I'm sure I have a very similar stance to a lot of us, but this is just about as over the top of I've ever seen, and it's getting to the point where it's kind of on the verge of ludicrousy in my mind. I mean, this is just, I've never seen anything like it.
Well, it is, but what are you going to do about it? Will you defy the government and open up?
You know what? I think at this point, I have no choice, right? What I've said all along was when we talked about essential versus non-essential, then I felt it was important for me to do my part. And I've done my part. And, we've agreed to flatten the curve and we've done our part. But if the governor comes out tomorrow and wants to start to dictate what industries he feels are allowed to open, that's when I have a major problem with that. Because if I can accommodate social distancing and I can accommodate the cleaning policies and I can operate at a fraction of my capacity, then why should I be prevented from earning a living while other companies or other industries are selected by the governor for them to continue to earn a living.
I mean, I get these complaints. These are the complaints, but are we doing it? The I think worries me a little bit. Are you doing it?
Today, Eric, he's going to come out. The governor's going to say no gyms, no gyms. He's going to say manufacturing, construction, and churches, places of worship can go back to normal. Go back to normal, whatever. But he's going to say no gyms. We know that. Today, he's going to say you can't open up. Are you going to open up anyway?
Well, we're going to treat ourselves as a non-gym, Jerry. We're a training facility. We have all membership based. We can control our population. Nobody's allowed to come in here without an appointment. We can accommodate all of the social distancing guidelines, and we are going to open, and we are going to make sure that we follow all of those rules. And
the one rule is, Eric, no gyms. You're going to do it anyway, which is good. You should, and I think it's
open. Yeah.
I think more people will follow once you start this thing rolling. All right, what time are you opening up?
Sorry.
When are you opening up?
We're opening up as soon as the governor speaks. We are opening up, and we are going to send out a polite email to our database that says, "Here are the rules we are following for social distancing, and we are open for business."
Okay.
And as soon as the governor is done speaking, we are sending out that email.
I like to hear.
That's Athletic Evolution in Woburn, correct?
That's correct.
So if any of the media, any of the TV stations want to show up, they're going to see a working gym or a training facility with customers, with kids. You have a lot of college kids. You don't have a lot of vulnerable people. You have a lot of fit young people who will show up to work out today.
I will give you free advertising for 6 months if you open up today.
As soon as the governor is, that sounds perfect. I will take you up on that.
Okay.
So the governor's going to speak, we think, about 2:00. He's going to babble on about testing and paint some more arrows in the street. And then Athletic Evolution opens up. And we hope we got a lot of gym people listening. We hope other gyms, other workout facilities, training facilities follow suit and open up as well. They can't, close you all down, Eric. And I can't imagine, my heart goes out to you guys. I can't imagine your livelihood, your life savings all wrapped up in this business. And every day you get to look at morons like these state reps, like the state rep we played earlier, Michael Connolly, like the governor, the mayor in Boston, sitting there telling you to just shut up, sit down, wear your mask and stay inside. Well, your life, your dream is just going up in smoke. I can't imagine the level of frustration you must be dealing with.
15 years, Jerry. You worked pretty hard for 15 years to try to get to a certain point, especially as a self-employed business. And to just feel like you're having nothing to do with why it's being ripped away from you is, it's pretty hard to handle.
Did you get a PPP loan? Did you get your PPP loan?
I did in round 2. It took me 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I applied the same day, April 3rd, as everybody else. But, I'm one of those small businesses that got taken advantage of in the first round, but was fortunate enough to get it in round 2.
People are asking if you know what the governor is going to say, then why wait?
It's a good question. Honestly, it's a good question. I think really the reality was I have my staff meeting today. I'm bringing my staff in to have our staff meeting in person. To go over the guidelines that we're going to follow. And I think we are fully prepared to do it. I don't know why we chose to wait. I think in large part it was just to make sure, before the email and everything kind of went out, that we weren't surprised by the governor maybe throwing a curveball and saying, hey, everybody can open up just under a certain capacity, which was kind of what we've been hoping all along. Instead of dictating what industries, just maybe specific guidelines just from a capacity standpoint. But once you got the rumors and word out there that we're starting to pick and choose what industries are going to be allowed to open and who's more important than who, I said to my staff who have families, I have, obviously a wife and 3 kids, my wife, my children, my staff, their children, they're all vital right now. They're all important. They're all essential in my mind. And the only way we can do anything about it is by getting back to work and trying to do what we do best. All
right. Well, good luck today, Eric. We'll be watching. Hopefully, you start something big here. You start the ball rolling, other people follow suit, and this whole thing, we can get back to normal sooner rather than later. I know it's a great facility. I can't imagine you looking at it empty every day. I hope you bang it out today, tomorrow, and every day after this.
I
this is
appreciate
what it's all
it
about.
very
People
much.
like you, small businessmen.
Well, we're ready to do it, and we're ready to take that step to lead the charge. So
Right.
hopefully everyone will be watching.
Excellent. Good luck, Eric from Athletic Evolution. Thanks for joining us. We are hoping that he's not alone. We're hoping that there's a whole bunch of this just pops up everywhere. Gyms and haircutters who open up, because you know what? They're going to get nothing. They're going to get no hope from the governor. Nothing. He's not even going to mention, not going to throw him a bone. Nothing. He doesn't care. It must be just infuriating. I can't imagine what they're going through. But you know what? It'll be like Georgia. If we open up, all the liberals, the globe will be very disappointed if we open up and there's not a wave of, death and destruction. They want it to be. They want the apocalypse to happen if there's if we actually let people get back to work. They want it to blow up on whoever goes back to work, because as you point out, it's all about November 3rd. It's all about dragging this out for 6 more months.
I'm sure Reamer's pro lockdown. I'm sure he does not want anything to open. I'll guarantee that if he was on right now, that's what he'd be saying.
It is amazing. It's along it's along party lines. You have the liberals like Charlie Baker on one side, and then you get the capitalists on the other, like you and me and Eric. I'll
tell you what, that guy, Jerry.
We have facts on our side. They have emotion. He has emotion. That's what Charlie Baker deals with. Emotion. He will cry at some point today talking about somebody. He'll shed a tear. He'll talk about his father.
I'm a little tired of the complaining, but I'm the second guy was a little better than the first guy. He was a little bit more, he says he's going to do it. He's not exactly inspiring confidence in the commenters right now. However, if they don't do it, it's going to be a huge disappointment. Because what I'm really sick of is just the complaining. We've all heard the complaints. We don't have to say them over and over again. We need action. And these people have the ability to get this started. And we'll say, like the golf lady did. That lady took action and she got it done.
Yes, you're right. They got to look at her. She's a great example for them. Look at her. She forced the governor's hand. Now she's probably, banging the place out today. And they will too. People are dying to go to the gym. They're dying to get their haircuts. That's what I think. Once they open up, that's what the other thing that people like Baker and the Boston Globe are afraid of. Once they open up, even restaurants, I think obviously their capacity will be cut in half or whatever the rule will be, but people will show up. We've seen it. People are dying to go out to eat, go to the gym, get their haircut. Their business will be booming once they open up. Most people aren't hiding at home saying, I can't go out. You can if you want. It's an option. If you want to stay in lockdown, you can make a choice, a personal choice. You can stay in lockdown. You want to stay at home the rest of your life, you can. It's optional. But if you want to go out to eat, you can. Not yet, but eventually. And I think, we're going to lose a certain number of restaurants. I think the numbers, 20-25% of restaurants are going to go under, but the other ones will be fine. Unfortunately.
I told you, Jerry, yesterday. I'm not going to mention names or the restaurants, but I know a guy in Southie. He owns 4 restaurants in Southie. 2 of them are going to close because 2 he pays rent on, the other 2 he owns. And he's like, with these, if you're going to be at 25% occupancy, there's no way that you can make enough money with margins in the restaurant business to pay rent. So he's closing them. There's nothing you can do.
And that is unbelievable. Just going to go under. Restaurants, just and guys will lose their life savings. These restaurateurs, it's heartbreaking. But I'm sure Michael Connolly feels awful for them. But I don't want to get to this NFL. Did you guys pay attention to this NFL story over the weekend?
Coaches,
the diversity. It's called the Workplace Diversity Committee. I swear to God, I know this is kind of a cliche, but I saw it on Twitter. I swear to God, I thought it was some kind of Onion or Babylon Bee kind of spoof or satire. You get to, if you hire African-American coaches, you get to move up in the draft. And if you fire them after 1 year, like Arizona did with Steve Wilkes, if you fire a black coach after 1 year And I thought that was great progress when they were firing black coaches just like they fired white coaches. I mean, it's a tough job. It's a tough way to make a living. That's why they get paid a lot of money. I thought they were treating black coaches like white coaches. Finally, it was like, great progress. But no, if you fire, here's the rule. If you fire a black coach after 1 year, you lose a draft pick. I'm not sure what round the round that you move up in is the third. So I think you lose a third round draft pick if you fire a coach. Now, what do
you get? You get a first round draft pick if you hire a black coach?
I think you get a first round draft pick. If you hire a black coach, you move up 6 spots in the third round. Like you move up, and then you get later picks. I'll get Gerry, all the other rules. It's incredible.
This is going to make Hugh Jackson the most coveted coach in the NFL, because not only are you guaranteed the number 1 pick every year, you're also getting an extra one because he's black.
But here's the problem. I mean, let's consider unintended consequences. I mean, would you say you're on the fence? There's a black coach and a white coach, and if you hire the white coach, you can dump him after a year if he sucks. If you hire the black coach, you can't. There's going to be this unintended consequence where the people say, I'm not going to hire the black guy because what if it doesn't work out? I can't fire him or I lose a draft pick. This will not help. It'll be crazy too, because they're going to have to, you get, depending on how important the coach is, like if it's a quarterback's coach, you move up a couple spots. If it's a head coach, you move up 6 spots. It's friggin' nuts. But let me get that rule exactly, how you move up if you hire an assistant.
Okay.
Again,
who wants to get a job that way, by the way? Like if you're that coach, who wants to know that you basically just got the job because your boss is being incentivized to do so? Who wants that?
The Workplace Diversity Committee proposes a team that hiring a non-white head coach moves up 6 spots, as I said, in the third round. Teams that hire a non-white general manager, check this out, fare even better. They move up 10 spots. So if you hire a black general manager, you move up 10 spots. A black coach is only 6 spots. A team that hires a black quarterbacks coach will receive an extra draft pick if that coach remains with the team more than 1 year. Teams with successful non-white coordinators cannot attempt to keep them from going to other teams as head coaches. I never thought you could prevent that.
What does that mean? How do you try to keep, they talk about the guy from Kansas City, Eric
I guess, come up with a new rule. But so if you hire a quarterbacks coach, what did I say? You move up, or you get a late round draft pick. This is going to be bizarre where guys, again, where they'll be hesitant, owners will be hesitant to hire guys because they're afraid they wouldn't be able to fire them. Or if they hire a black general manager, what if they hire a black general manager, just give the title and they have, someone else there, an owner's son or an owner like Jerry Jones making the decisions.
What if you're the interim coach? Do you have to get rehired if you come in?
The black general manager gets you to move up 10 spots.
Not too bad. You could literally just have a figurehead, just pay him a salary and be like, well, it's like a Joe Biden running, the country, except the team.
And then what happens next? Is it going to be, I've often heard that, like Ron Rivera is considered a coach, of color because he's Hispanic. Do you get same number of draft picks for a Hispanic guy as you do for a black guy, or is it different?
I feel like 0.75, I think, is the ratio you get for that. Asians is less than you actually lose if you have an Asian.
What about a gay guy? What about if you hire a gay guy? You must get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Transgender midgets 5. So tell Reamer, he'd love that one.
If Trevor Lawrence is coming out and he's going to be the number 1 pick, you know what you do? You hire a black gay transgender with a club foot and a hair lip, and that gets you the top.
Throw a wig on Hugh Jackson, and all your problems will be solved.
And then you get Trevor Lawrence, and your franchise is saved.
Yeah,
don't see any downside to that at all, do you?
No. What could go wrong? Gerry?
Did you watch Last Dance? You're not one of those. You're not a Last Dance guy. I felt pressure, Twitter pressure, to watch Last Dance. And
I watched.
It was excellent.
I mean, it was. I loved how he played. The really interesting part about playing with the flu last night, and all I could think of is like LeBron tapped out because of cramps,
That's a good point.
and Michael Jackson went out and won arguably his hardest world title at the age of like 34 with food poisoning.
Food poisoning. He thinks he got poisoned with a pizza in Utah that he got delivered. Only he ate it, and he got violently ill. And then they showed it, and he did look like under the weather. But guys do that. They play well when they're sick sometimes. Scottie Pippen was talking about it. But they were good teams. They were beating good teams. That Indiana team was excellent.
Gary, I feel so bad for Indiana when you look back at it. It's like every time they run into every freaking dynasty ever. The Indiana Pacers. I feel like they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals more than any other team, and they just can't win. They have the Bulls, freaking Heat. Like they've run into LeBron James several times. Like they've put together really, really, really good teams, and they just run into dynasties.
I felt bad for Larry. I was always rooting for Bird, and Jordan ripped his heart out, and Bird will never win a title as a coach. But Jordan was in the way, and Jordan, as we learned again, Jordan's he's a dick. He's not a nice guy. I mean, he remembered something Brian Russell said about him like years ago, and he just wanted to embarrass him.
Love that. Yeah. Like, why'd you quit? I want to guard you. I want to guard you. Like, Carl, you better get your boy over here. You better go and get your boy.
He's just so ruthless.
He's freaking
cruel, and he's great. And it's funny. It holds up. You don't you look at it, and there's no one else like him, including LeBron. I mean, there's been a million guys come and go, but no one like Jordan with that combination. The killer instinct of Bird with the athleticism, like better than anyone ever. I mean, the guy's
nobody like Gary Payton, like how Gary Payton demanded to cover Michael in Game 4, and they were down 3-0. I mean, that's fat. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore. Could you picture like Russell Westbrook demanding to cover, James Harden or something like that? I mean, it wouldn't happen.
The Steve Kerr stuff was great. Talking about it, they went really deep into it. Steve Kerr's father getting murdered over in Lebanon. And it's funny, they asked Kerr's father was murdered, Jordan's father was murdered. Do you ever talk about it? And he says, no. And they just drop it.
Yeah.
Jordan did not. He controlled this documentary, or obviously these 10 parts, and they didn't really get into, you never saw the murderers of his father. You never saw, the trial, the courtroom, any of that stuff, the crime scene. I think he didn't want that part of it, and he didn't ever talked to Kerr. You imagine that both guys' fathers were murdered and they never discussed it. But Kerr came across as really, really likable. I hate him because he hates America. He's a big liberal.
That's why I'm like, I didn't even want to watch Steve Kerr. I'm so disgusted by that guy with what he did to the Red Chinese. Just bowed to them. Right. And then he virtue signals about Donald Trump on Twitter, which, I mean, he'll call out our own president, but he's too sackless to call out the Red Chinese government and what they're doing to protesters in Hong Kong. Freaking hate that guy.
I know. Well, then you definitely want to skip this part because he came across, his mother is in it, and they get really into they show a lot of his father growing up and all that, and get into the murder. And he was very sympathetic. He was very likable. And he came through. He had, he wasn't no great prospect. He got one scholarship offer to go to college. He was a scrub. Bounced around and played. Jordan made him what he is today, and he appreciates it. But it is kind of strange that they never discussed it. And Jordan never discussed it for this documentary. I think we had enough shots of him smoking a cigar. We got enough shots of him sitting there, looking out the window. It was like typical documentary in that you look at an hour-long episode and you say that could have been, 40 minutes. They just add the fluff and the music and the drama, but it's over now. And now we move on to Lance Armstrong, which I think will be a good one too. I'll watch that.
And by the way, Gerry, I promise, people are talking about this in the comments. I promise I won't do to you what Caller Daddy Girls did to Dave Portnoy. I'm not going to use you for a platform and move on. I promise.
I didn't quite. I wasn't well read on the subject. Tell me, before we go here, what happened with Portnoy and the Caller Daddy Girls?
Yeah, so he made them. He made them the biggest podcast on his network, or one of the ones. They got rich off it. They made like $500,000 a year, and then one of them got a boyfriend who works for HBO and doesn't like Dave, and basically sabotaged and told her, you're worth more than this. You should demand this. And Dave offered them more money and even ownership of the IP. I mean, it was like a very generous offer.
It was wild.
Declined it.
It was wild. Now give them a little bit of credit. I mean, you can't just launch a podcast like that. Like they have talent. Like
no, they do not have talent. What talent do they have?
Alex is talented. Shut your mouth.
What's your talent? Sticking things in her orifice? What are you talking about?
Barstool has a lot of podcasts.
Talent.
Barstool has a lot of podcasts that they help a lot of people. That one shot significantly higher than all their other podcasts. So I would say that their talent.
You know how easy it is to replace those two? You know how easy it is to find two chicks to come on and talk about all the guys they bang? It's really not that hard.
Other people have done it. They started a little trend. Do you think, are they going to settle it or are they gone? Are they?
Well, now, so this is the wild part. So now they were united initially in trying to shake down Dave Portnoy for a better deal. And then because they got the better deal finally, one didn't want to take it, the other did want to take it, and now there's a rift between the two of them. So now it's up in the air, but Dave might get the best of both worlds, to be honest with you. Caller Daddy might come back with one girl, and then the other girl might be forced to sign a new contract with Barstool, and they get a new podcast, and maybe he gets 1 million downloads every episode of both.
Leah Genduso's in the comments right now. She's volunteering to do it. I would watch that any day of the week.
I would definitely watch that.
I've seen, I don't listen to them, but you see other podcasts that, they try to look like Caller Daddy. They try to act like they have smirks on their faces, on their little logos. Maybe we should do that, Turtleboy. We should just sit there and talk about,
talk about our sex life. I mean, it's like, just talk about all the chicks, oh man. I mean, if all that show is, the only reason it's popular is because they're doing something women aren't supposed to do. If it was two guys on there talking about all the chicks they banged, no one would listen to it because you can hear that literally anywhere. That's not interesting. That's not edgy. But because it's two women, we're not supposed to be talking openly like this about all the guys we hooked up with. It's like the whole reason Sex in the City was a popular TV show. This is just a bootleg podcast of Sex in the City. That's all that show is.
Are you a Portnoy guy now? Because you used to be.
I've been critical of what his company is a little turned into. But when Prez has his back against the wall like this, when people go at him, when Deadspin goes at him, this is when he's at his best, and he's in rare form these days.
I know he's riding high, man. He's got Elon Musk, on his side.
He's become a cultural icon. Like, he's become like you see it, and you saw it with Kirk too. The trend, these people that try to act like they're apolitical, they're all conservatives on the inside. They're all trending that way, and you can see it with Dave, you can see it with Kirk, you can see it with all these people. It's natural for them. All you got to do is
they work.
Yeah.
Because he works, and obviously Portnoy's a capitalist. Right? If he were to be honest, he would say that he loves Trump and he loves big business or whatever. There's no way. I mean, I don't know how conservative he is, but there's no way he's a liberal. That's just not possible. I mean, the only one who I would say went the other way is Howard Stern. Again, he lost his mind. He started hanging out with Jimmy Kimmel and Rosie O'Donnell, and he became a liberal when he used to be a virulent,
tries to act like a tough guy.
Libertarian.
Yeah, he tries to act like the tough guy liberal. Like, I got news for you guys. Trump doesn't like you guys, you supporters. You're white trash. Like, shut up, Howard. You're just a social justice warrior. Stop acting like a tough guy.
Right, and it's not working for him. A lot of his people, his former people, are Trump people are certainly conservatives. And Portnoy, when he did the rant that went viral, said kind of the same things that we've been saying for 2 months. That you've been saying, that you've been blogging about. He just. Nothing new, nothing real creative, but it's him, and it was funny, and it went viral, and it was a big moment. I tweeted this, that the Team Lockdown lost, Tucker Carlson, they Portnoy, Elon Musk. There were some real big, cultural figures that in the last 2 weeks completely bailed on this, we got to flatten the curve or we have to stay locked down. They lost some important voices. That's when you felt like tide had turned, and it had, except here in where we live in the People's Republic. In most of the country, when those guys kind of took a look at what was happening and said enough, I think a lot of people went with them. I felt like the tide turned again, not in Massachusetts, but in the rest of the country, in the rest of in the United States, not here, but in the rest of the United States, people take their cue from certain people, from Tucker, from Portnoy, from Mark Levin, from Turtleboy. And it felt like people were coming aboard, people were figuring this all out. And then boom, our governor says, no, we're going to paint some arrows in the sidewalk and we're going to make you sit home for another month. So it feels like, again, you use the word tension. The tension is just escalating right now. And that's a good thing.
So we did just get the press release. It's 11 a.m. Governor Baker's speaking.
Ooh.
11 a.m. So as soon, so we got 2 hours here.
Somebody said that Jim in Oxford, I forget, Jim in Oxford has opened up already. So the guy, he's no longer the leader of the revolution. Somebody beat him to it.
Oh, I think I've said this for 2 weeks now. I think the leader of the revolution is the guy you blogged about, the golf course owner who rips up cease and desist letters.
Yes. Oh, that guy's freaking bad.
That guy doesn't want the publicity apparently, but that guy is the leader of this thing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's the spirit.
But I think today our guy Athletic Evolution opens up, and I think a bunch of other gyms open up, and you know what? It'll be like the governor will come out 2 days later and say, gyms aren't such a bad idea. Let's open the gyms, because he can't. What are you going to do? Lock them all down? Arrest them all? We need a whole bunch across the state. So if you're a gym owner, if you're running a gym, open up today, tomorrow. Let's do it
there,
next day or two, and force the governor's hand.
When can I send my fucking kids back to my mom's house, for God's sakes?
Whenever you want, Dave.
When can I do it? Well,
Just
whenever
do
you
it.
want. No,
you need the government to let you do that?
She needs the government, unfortunately. I'm ready to go. She needs the government, unfortunately. So
What about her parents?
Her parents are in Vermont. She's from Vermont. So
they don't want to see the kids.
I might move to Vermont.
Yeah, go up there. Be free.
I think now that your parents don't have the virus, and they're okay, right? They're clean. They're good.
I go there every day.
What are you worried about?
I'm not worried. They're worried about it. So I'll wait and see. I'm trying to convince her to open up. She's maybe the governor will say something that pisses her off, and I can send the damn kids back.
Who cares what the governor says? You should. Whatever.
This is my mom.
Dave, the number one criticism of this show right now is that we're not in the Legacy Club. That's what people are saying. They're like, you're a hypocrite. You talk about opening up. You're sitting at home. What do you think of that?
Fair. This is completely.
I'll go in the Legacy Club tomorrow, but Dave won't. He's afraid.
It's completely me appeasing my wife. Completely me. It's a PR battle.
Good to know. Okay.
It is on me. I will take
more powerful than Helen of Troy. I mean, that's who you're married to. No offense.
Well, we're going to be back. We're going to be back in there soon, because even Cullinane is figuring this out, that there is no risk, that there's not a big deal, that we should be in there. And by the way, if we went in there tomorrow, there'd be plenty of parking.
Yes,
no traffic and plenty of parking. So we should be back there soon. You're right.
So that is a high construction area. So the construction should be back in action, right? Right around that area.
I'm not sure. It's up to the mayor. The governor said construction can resume with a million of these dumb rules, like construction guys need to be told, to keep your distance or whatever. It says no handshaking allowed is in the order. No hand. So they're going to order people. You really have to order people not to shake hands. That's how they think. These tyrants think. I got to tell everyone what to do from the moment they wake up in the morning. It's out of control. Hopefully, we can look out. I can look out right now and see if the cranes are operating again. Hopefully tomorrow it gets done, because the idea that there's probably thousands of construction jobs on hold in Boston right now for no good reason. We need to see those start up again, and people doing construction need to get back to work. They are essential, and nobody can tell me different. But anyway, we'll find out. The governor's going to speak soon. We'll find out what he says, and we'll find out if the revolution, the birthplace of the revolution right here. We'll find out if these people are going to go back to work in Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill and everywhere else around here. Or, as Turtleboy said, are we just going to comply? Are we just going to roll over and let Michael Connolly control our lives? We'll find out. But all right, Turtleboy, thanks. Check him out on TBDailyNews.com. Some good stuff, by the way. I say that all the time, but you have a great post. If you want to find out more about Michael Connolly, this crazy blob, liberal, radical Bernie bro who wants us to stay shut down. You can read about him at TBDailyNews.com. and see the video, by the way, because it is maddening. Does that piss you off more than anything? Just seeing this sideburn blob, radical,
so disgusting.
commie.
Oh, what a disgusting thing. Oh.
It is disgusting. Someone say it looks like John Tomasi. I don't think that's fair to Tomasi. This guy.
It's not fair. It's rude to Tomasi.
Ugh. He's just, you're right. Disgusting. You just want to smack him. Oh, by the way. Oh, I almost forgot. By the way, what day did you blog this yesterday? You blogged about this yesterday, correct?
Which one? The guy, the curly sideburns there, guy?
Sideburn guy.
Yeah, that was last night.
Last night, he's told the Boston Globe he's getting death threats.
Well, you should live a day in my life. I'll show you what death threats look like. Sunny boy.
I know. The Twitter death threats aren't real death threats. He said, he told the Globe somebody sent him I don't know if it's a tweet or email, Facebook, a picture of a gun. It said, you might want to rethink your letter, his letter advising the state to stay locked down. Now, that's not a death threat. That guy's not going to kill you. That's not a death threat, but he, the Globe, of course, supports him and it supports the lockdown. So they're saying he's getting death threats. And I'm going to blame that on you, Turtleboy. You are riling up the mob.
Oh, Turtleboy cannot be blamed for this because his blog on him was not out yet. This happened 2 days ago. So
I literally go to court for shit like this all the time. I
don't get bogged down in the details
right now.
We don't want to get bogged down in the details. This poor fellow's getting death threats. But, all right, we'll see what happens with him too. What did he say when you called him to come on, Michael Connolly?
He said he was too busy. Let me pull up the email here. Listen, the takeaway was how big of a fan he was of Gerry Callahan. That was the takeaway. I just lost the rest of it. I'm sorry. My schedule is already jam-packed tomorrow, so I can't make it. Yeah.
Jam-packed? He's locked down.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you suppose his schedule includes? Like eating his own dandruff, picking out his belly button lint, eating, a box of Pop-Tarts.
Busy day in Cambridge.
Baking muffins. What else is on Michael Connolly's things to do today?
Not showering.
No, he takes baths because he likes when he farts and it makes bubbles.
That's true.
This is a state rep who's making decisions that that affect all our lives. God, you're right, Turtleboy. That is disgusting. I just want to smack this blob. Oh God. But you can see, you can read all about him at tbdailynews.com. Thanks, Turtleboy. Thanks to Shea Concrete and Allied Paving, and thanks to DCU, and thanks to Flagship Wealth too. Thanks to Callahan. Appreciate it. You can give us a review. You can give us a rating on.
Oh yeah, lots came in over the weekend. A lot more rankings. Turtleboy's not looking good for a permanent co-hosting position. It's a shame.
Get on there, people, on the iTunes, and please 5-star review, and make sure you point out in the comments Turtleboy should be the everyday co-host.
Get a lot of that. A lot of the Turtle Riders.
We had 200 people, Gerry, this entire show. Nobody else breaks 100, even when I share it. Come on.
It's true. He does own the Facebook community. I'll give him credit for that.
We do have lots of people, or some people, who are saying that they own businesses and they're opening up, or their friends. We encourage it. We want lots. We don't want just one William Wallace. We want lots of it. We want to spread across the state by tomorrow. People just open up. Screw it. Open up. It's time. All right.
We're going to go down.
What's that?
We're going down in the history books. We're the leaders of this, Gerry. When this all
you can be William Wallace because I want to be Stephen, the guy from Ireland.
Okay,
the most wanted man on my island.
Your island, right.
My favorite character. I want to be Stephen.
Okay,
you can be William Wallace, and Dave can be the king's
He's Robert
son.
He's the traitor.
Dave can be the prince.
Yeah.
Whose boyfriend Longshank throws out the window.
Or the guy who gets thrown out the window.
All right. This is the Callahan Podcast. We will talk to you again tomorrow.